The doors slide shut, and the elevator hums as it begins its slow descent from floor 13. Buildings aren't supposed to have 13th floor, but this one does, and my office is on it. The air feels stale, like it's been waiting for years to be breathed, and finally gave up. Sophie leans against the wall, scrolling her phone, her face lit by the soft, artificial glow of emails and endless updates. She doesn't acknowledge me, and I don't acknowledge her. That's the rule in the elevators. You exist, but only barely. Floor 12. The silence isn't awkward, it's corporate. It's an agreement we both signed without reading. Her thumb pauses mid-scroll, and she exhales sharply, like she's reading something irritating. A poorly worded email, maybe. Or a text that digs just a little too deep. Corporate's full of poets who think they're surgeons, she says suddenly, breaking the pact. I smirk, though she doesn't see it. And surgeons who think they're poets, I reply. She finally glances up, one eyebrow slightly raised. You ever think there's a better way to do all of this? She asks. Better way? I echo. Something that doesn't feel so hollow, she says, gesturing vaguely at the walls, like maybe we weren't supposed to fit ourselves into this box. I nod, but before I can respond, the elevator dings again. Floor 11. The doors open and Mr. Grant steps in, a commanding presence wrapped in a tailored fabric and cologne sharp enough to cut through the dull air. He's the kind of man who would give a eulogy for a stapler and make it sound like it's the end of an era. He smells of pine and authority. Sophie, he says with a smile so practiced that it might as well be stamped on his face. Always hard at work. Always, Mr. Grant, she replied, tucking her phone into her bag like a student caught with contraband. He turns to me, his grin softening into something more calculated. And you? How are the things shaping up on your end? Staying agile, I say, the words slouting out before I think about them. Leveraging synergies to maximize output. Grant lets out a hearty laugh, the kind that echoes like a sound effect. That's what I like to hear. Synergy is the key to scalability. We're creating a new paradigm here, something that's going to disrupt the space in a way no one's expecting. Exciting to align on those initiatives, I say. He beams, clearly enjoying the volley. We've got to think long-term, though. Focus on vertical integration, the kind of forward-thinking strategies that ensure we're not just playing the game, we're rewriting the rule book. Absolutely, I reply. This is about building a culture of innovation, not just chasing short-term wins. Floor 10. The elevator lurches slightly. Grant's hand goes instinctively to the railings, though the moment passes quickly. He adjusts his cufflinks, a man perpetually waiting for an invisible audience. He looks at Sophie. Legal? She nods. Contracts for the pitch, deadline, EOD. Good, he says, giving a small nod of approval, like a king granting a minor favor. That's the kind of executional excellence we need. Precision, Sophie. That's what drives outcome. Floor 9. The doors open, and Sophie steps out, leaving behind a faint scent of expensive perfume and unspoken ambitions. Now it's just me and Grant. Floor 8. He leans against the wall, his polished shoes tapping softly against the floor. We should catch up soon, he says, his tone shifting from something more familiar, like he's pretending we're old friends. Dinner tomorrow? I'd like to hear your thoughts on the direction we're heading. Big moves coming down the pipeline. Of course, I reply, happy to align on key objectives. Perfect, he says, grinning as we just brokered a world-changing deal. Floor 7. The elevator dings again, and he steps out. He glances back briefly, Keep up the good work, he says, his voice warm and utterly impersonal. The doors closes and my phone buzzes. Dinner canceled. Something came up. Let's reschedule. The words are clinical, efficient, a dismissal wrapped in politeness. Masterfully done, Mr. Grant. Masterfully done. Floor 6. The doors open again, and a man with a polished fern steps in. He cradles it like a child, the fronds brushing his lapel. His tie is crooked, and his glasses have a faint smudge on the lens. Nice fern, I say, because it feels like the kind of thing you're supposed to say when faced with such a spectacle. He beams at me. Did you know ferns improve air quality? Great for productivity. A little bit of nature in the belly of the beast. Good to know, I reply. Floor 5. He shifts the fern in his arms, looking at me as though we've known each other for years. Plants adapt, he say. They thrive in the strangest places. People could learn a lot from them. Maybe people could use a place to thrive too, I muther, almost to myself. The man looks at me for a moment, his expression unreadable. Maybe they could, he says quietly. Floor 4. The elevator slows again, and he steps out, humming a tune that doesn't seem to have a beginning or an end. Floor 3. I'm alone now. Floor 2. The hum of the elevator is the only sound, a low vibration that settles into the bones. Basement. The door is open, and the air changes, a little colder, a little heavier. This isn't a place designed for living. Harry's office is just ahead,